Day, Binibining fans!
Good afternoon, Binibining Pilipinas fans. I am Patch Magtanong, your Binibining Pilipinas International 2019, and I am very happy to welcome all of you as we officially open the Binibining Pilipinas season. And I'm so excited. I'm so happy to see you guys hearing that Binibining Pilipinas song. Grabe, nakakamiss and nakaka-excite for what's to come. And just like all of you, I'm so excited with the country's most prestigious beauty pageant, and we're back. So Binibining Pilipinas this year, the candidates will return to finish what they started last year. Pero I know you're excited, relax muna kayo, you will see them in the coming weeks. But for now, we are starting the resumption of the pageant with the highly anticipated Binibining Pilipinas national costumes. I know you've already seen them online since December last year. I know we're all excited. And ang gaganda ng national costumes. And they really drummed up the excitement. So today we have a great live for you. We're going to talk more about the national costumes with our special guests later. Kaya abangan. So now, as a little sneak peek, earlier today, Binibining Pilipinas opened its traditional photo exhibit featuring the candidates in their magnificent outfits. So you can see in your screen now, we are going to show you live in Gateway Mall where the photos are displayed. Ayan, so we will be displaying this video for you guys to see a little sneak peek of what to expect in the exhibit. And you can also see na we have safety protocols in place. So we don't have that many people. We're limiting the media, but you guys are free to visit anytime. This is an opportunity for the public to have a better and closer look of the marvelous costumes. So to give you a sneak peek of this exhibit, check out this video. Ayan, so here is a live video of Gateway Mall. Kanina, we were there, and the national costume photos are displayed. The photos are done by none other than Sir Raymond Saldana, and you can go visit it anytime. It's in Gateway Mall right now until January 31, and then it's in Ali Mall from Feb 1 to Feb 14, if I'm not mistaken. So, ayan, makikita natin live. So we will be flashing this video all throughout the live para we get a little sneak peek. So again, this is an opportunity for the public to have a better and closer look of the costumes. And we have a video prepared for you as a sneak peek. So watch this.
Welcome to the Binibining Pilipinas National Costume Photo Exhibit. After the postponement of last year's pageant due to the pandemic, the much-awaited beauty surge, not just in the country, but in the whole world is back. And this officially opens the Binibining Pilipinas season. And today, we are officially resuming our pageant activities with the unveiling of our traditional Binibining Pilipinas National Costume Photo Exhibit. This starts here at the Gateway Mall today until January 31 and will be at the Ali Mall from February 1 to 14. Joining us today to do the honors of opening the exhibit are, she is Binibining Pilipinas International 2019, the lovely attorney Patch Magtanong. And he is a well-known fashion director and a BPCI Executive Committee member. Please welcome Direk Raymond Villanueva. She is the OIC of Uniprom Inc., the entertainment arm of the Araneta Group. Please welcome Miss Irene Jose.
Hi guys! I'm here at the Gateway Mall today for the opening of this year's Binibining Pilipinas National Costume Photo Exhibit. This exhibit is a product of the lens of veteran pageant photographer Raymond Saldana in a photo session that took place last year before the COVID lockdown. As you can see, only a limited number of people are here today for the unveiling for safety purposes. But we are inviting all Binibining fans and supporters to check out this exhibit today until January 31 here at the Gateway Mall and from February 1 to 14 at the Alley Mall. See you all here. Let me give you a quick tour. Mrs. Stella Marquez Araneta's message to all Binibini fans. Good day to all our supporters and followers. I am happy to announce that the Binibining Pilipinas Charities Incorporated is all set to continue with the pageant this year. We officially opened the Binibining Pilipinas season with the launch of the National Costume Photo Exhibit in Araneta City. Through this, we aim to celebrate our colorful culture and our talented local designers. Our tradition of identifying and crowning our new queens will be done in a new normal and safe setting. We share your excitement as we see the candidates in action again, and we look forward to your continuous support. Thank you.
Binibining Pilipinas would like to thank our sponsors: Araneta City, the city of firsts; World Balance, the official active lifestyle footwear; Jag Jeans, Manhattan Garden City by Mega World Corporation; Ever Balena Cosmetics; Petron, Kasabay sa Lakbay; Pizza Hut, Dairy Queen, and Taco Bell. And we also would like to thank our service sponsors: Manila Bulletin, Novotel Manila, Araneta City, Dale Carnegie, Raymond Saldana Photography, Jojo Bragay Shoes, Gold's Gym, Equinox Manila, Dom's Ramos Swimwear, Picture City, and Bruce Casanova Photography. And would like to invite you to visit and enjoy the exhibit. Again, this is open to the public starting today until January 31 here at the Gateway Mall, and from February 1 to 14 at the Alley Mall. Also, don't miss our live Facebook presentation on these national costumes together with Patch and some special guests. Thank you very much, and see you all in our next Binibining Pilipinas activities happening this year.
Ayan. So again, that was officially the resumption of the Binibining Pilipinas activities. And as you saw from the video, I already had a chance to look at the costumes. But today, we will be talking more about the national costumes. And I'm happy to say that I'm being joined by some people who are very familiar with this topic. So let's welcome our guests. First, we have, of course, none other than Binibining Pilipinas International Intercontinental 2019 and the winner of the Best in National Costume last year during my batch, my fellow Binibini sister, Emma Tiglao. Hi, Emma. How are you? Emma, nakamute ka.
Hindi, tinitignan ko lang kung alert ka, Patch.
I think, did I pass your test?
Miss you.
Miss you, Emma. Ang ganda naman ng lighting mo. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Binato mo sa akin. I'm okay, Emma. Ikaw?
Okay naman. Nakaka-excite na Binibini is back, di ba?
I know, di ba? When I heard the song, the Binibini song, parang I got chills eh. Ang tagal na nating di naririnig eh.
Kaya nga eh.
Okay, so I'm looking forward to hearing your thoughts later, Emma. Now we'll welcome our next special guest for today, veteran entertainment and pageant writer Voltaire Tayag from Rappler.
Hi, Patch. How are you? Good
Hi,
afternoon,
Voltaire.
everyone.
Hi, how are you
Make
today?
me sound old. No, but you're absolutely right. When I heard the song playing, it was giving me life. Like every time I'm there, it just makes me smile. And I'm so glad that Binibini is back. And, it's been like a year exactly since all of this started. And it feels like it was just a dream that like now we've awoken from that. And I'm also very glad to be a part of this because the national costume is one of my favorite parts of the competition. And this is the one where like the candidates and the designers spend so much more time on doing these, and for them to be recognized also for their hard work, their patience and their creativity and artistry is an amazing thing.
Exactly. This event, National Costume, is so much about the designers as much as they're about the girls, because it's really the designers who worked hard for producing such a costume. I can't wait to hear about your thoughts later, Voltaire. Now we move on to our last very special guest, also an expert in pageantry. We have pageant blogger Jason Cappuccino from Sashes and Scripts. Hi,
Hello
Sir Jason.
everyone,
How are you?
Finally, we're starting the Binibining Pilipinas season again, and it's not. I believe it's not just me and Voltaire or the queens, but the fans are very very excited as well. So it's good to be back at the game where we left off last year. And it's nice. It's nice to finally open this pageant season with the national costumes.
Yes, and for our first event, we have a very special set of guests ranging from the winner of Best in National Costume to our pageant experts. Kaya we are going to have a very great live today. I'm so excited to get started. So simulan na natin. First off, what are your general thoughts about this year's batch of Binibining Pilipinas national costumes? Let's start with Emma.
Sobrang hirap ngayon kasi lahat nag-effort and we saw it eh. We saw it in personal, di ba, Patch, nung nag-shoot tayo. So doon pa lang makikita mo na yung details and all. Ito kasi photo, so makikita mo lang siya. Nung nakita natin, doon pa natin mas na-appreciate. What more pa pag nairampa na nila to, di ba? So yun lang, I salute all the designers, all the candidates. Pinag-isipan talaga nila lahat. Grabe.
Exactly. You're so right, Emma, kasi sometimes you don't appreciate the national costume unless you really see the intricacies up close. Eh. So again,
Right?
yes, exactly. So again, I'm plugging our exhibit in Gateway Mall right now. You can check out the photos. They're blown up full size and you can see the details. Okay, next we'll go to Voltaire.
Well, as you said, because I'm a veteran, I've seen the progression of the national costumes from way back. Back then, kasi the costumes, parang the designer would pick a gown, tapos lalagyan ng butterfly sleeve, or lalagyan ng parang panuelo or something, and then they call it a costume already. But these days, in the past few years, especially this year, the costumes have really like risen up, and the creativity is off the charts. And if you look at each and every one of them, you know that it's not something that was done overnight. There are a lot of thought, a lot of love, and care was put into every single one. So one of the things that I learned also is because, like back then when I wasn't writing, you can be a little bit harsh when you're commenting or critiquing something. But when you've actually met the people, you've met the designers, you've met the candidates, you know that all of this is out of love. So I invite all the fans to really just appreciate the love, the labor of love that's been put into all of this. And I think through that, we can really celebrate each and every one of them.
Thank you so much, Voltaire. That's so very well said. And we really appreciate it, especially Emma and I and all the girls, because people sometimes forget that we're also working very, very hard. So thank you so much. More than our mentor and a veteran entertainment and pageant writer, Voltaire is also our friend. So thank you so much. And then lastly, we go to Sir Jason.
Well, there are three things actually that stood out for me in the national costumes this year. First one is the variety. Thanks to the designers, there is a wealth of culture. There's a wealth of heritage. There's a wealth of backstory that is incorporated in each national costume. So bawat kasuotan may kwento, may pinanggagalingan. And another thing is, I have to point out the superb set design and photography by Sir Raymond Saldana and Henry Reyes, because what they did with the photography and the set design this year is that it created an atmosphere of mystery, that it does not reveal the entirety of the costume and would leave fans wanting more when they see the costume up close in person when the national costume show is being held, right? And the third one, it is I'm very grateful with Binibining Pilipinas this year for individually posting these national costumes in their social media, because it allows an opportunity for fashion designers to be known, to be heard, to get to know their work, and it also allows pageant fans to get to know the history and the story behind each costume. And isa kasi sa mga nagpapagaan ng loob, or one of the things that makes us appreciate the national costumes more is when you understand the story behind it, when you understand the background, the backstory, like the national costume of Emma last year, which is made by inmates, right? And then it is those kinds of story na nakakaantig ng puso, and it allows fans to get not only to get to know the girl behind the costume, but to understand the culture behind it. And it's very apt because the hashtag of Binibini is I am Filipina, I am Binibini, and it throws back to that appreciation of culture and heritage.
Thank you, Sir Justin. You're absolutely right. Every year, parang the national costumes just get more and more meaningful and more culturally significant. And it also tells a story. And I hope in the future we get to see more of these national costumes. But for now, we have an opportunity to talk about all the individual costumes per candidate. And I believe that you guys are assigned to talk about a candidate each. So let's start with Binibini 1, Samantha Alexandra Panlilio. I think Emma will have something to say.
To be candidate number 1, you need to be powerful para mapansin ka kasi you're the start. Ikaw magsa-start ng program, ikaw magsa-start ng pinaka main program ng pageant And to start the national competition with this powerful costume, parang I salute Samantha Panilio. Kasi imagine yung kanyang costume, it is inspired with the 13 martyrs who led the PH Revolution. And the fabric, it's a local Filipino fabric. Talagang nandun yung culture ng pagka-Filipino. And dito sa costume, by looking at it, makikita mo dalawa lang eh. It's woman and power. Pag nakita mo siya, very queenly. Yung pagka-woman niya, it's very empowered woman. And then next is power. Kung makikita niyo yung belt niya, di ba medal siya? Parang makikita mo na nandun yung victory eh. So, grabe. I salute this national costume of Samantha Panilio.
Okay, so next we move on to Binibini 3, Lois and Badando.
Yes, well, for Binibini 3, this costume was by Ryan, June, Mariano Castillo, and they call it Kolibangbang, which means butterfly. It looks very authentic, and this is one of the things, you know, you can go either fantasy, you can go showgirl, you can go traditional, you can go wearable, but this one, I love seeing these costumes that look very authentic. This one is inspired by from a photo in the 1900s of the Gadang tribe, of a woman that was wearing it, and napag-google ako kasi hindi yung Gadang tribe because I wanted to get to know more about it, and that the tribeswomen back then were actually allowed to own property, and that's very important to know because knowing that that tribe allows the women to own property and to own land means that they were really given power, and then they were empowered women even back then. This is such a beautiful, colorful costume, and what I love about it is that it also highlights her beauty because it frames the face, and at the same time, what I also really appreciate is the way she holds that gong, na para siyang handbag. That makes it look very modern and a little bit more fun rather than a very traditional pose. You're muted, Pash.
Oops, sorry. Okay, so next, thank you both there. Next, we have Binibini 4, Patricia Garcia.
Well, what I love about this Chico Estiva creation, which is inspired by the Santo Niño de Tondo, is that it is very rich visually. So wala kang makikitang elemento ng costume itself na hindi akma doon sa pinanggagalingang inspirasyon. And if there is only one nitpicking item that I had to say about the costume is that there's too much accessories. I believe Patricia is one of the most facially stunning girls in this batch. So maybe remove the choker because the headpiece and the earrings and the scepter is more than enough accessory for her to stand out in this costume. Kasi maganda na yung pagkakagawa, yung visual impact ng kanyang Santo Niño costume, and the choker for me is a little bit too much because it removes the focus away from her face. Other than that, I think this one is perfectly done. The photography, the way she languidly leans back to showcase the costume, it was very, very nicely and perfectly executed.
Thank you, Sir Jason. To our guest, I'd like to remind you lang, you can interject and you can offer your own opinions, even if someone else discusses the costume first, moving forward. So just let me know, please. Okay, next, we move on to Binibini 5, Arian Desiree Villardo.
My fellow Kabalen. So, this one was made by Santino Rivera, and it's a parol-inspired gown. Ang galing lang ng concept kasi pag inisip natin na parol, actually ako dun sa costume ko nung una, naisip ko parol kasi saan ba noon ang Kapampangan? It's the Christmas capital of the Philippines, di ba? But it's really hard pag sinundan mo yung parol with Catriona, tapos this one, parang kailangan pag-isipan mo. And this one talagang pinag-isipan kasi yung parol na gawa niya, it's not about the headdress, it's not about yung the back dress eh. Nasa gown niya itself. And to incorporate it in a Filipiniana gown, parang ang galing lang. And also, one thing, yung sinabi kanina na ang galing dun sa element of surprise dun sa photography ni Sir Raymond. I am excited kung ano pang meron dun sa baba. Kasi I cannot see the color pa kung ano yung color ng parol eh. So I am excited kung mag-iilaw ba yan or what. So ayun na.
Thank you, Emma. Next, we move on to Binibini 6, Princess Guanzon.
Now, Princess Guanzon is wearing a Ranel Espaldon creation. At first glance, if I take out all of those accessories on her, it looks like it can be a gown that can be worn at an event. And like when I look at national costumes, I give the designers that creative license to go in a direction where they feel can add a little bit more life or to update the look. What I love about this is I'm pretty sure that in person this will be very fluid and flowy, and this is inspired by like the visual art of the Mangyan tribe, and it's called pakudos. It symbolizes their culture, their tradition, and their livelihood. Now, I only wonder if yung mga baskets na yan, dala-dala ba niya yan because ang daming excess baggage niyan. But I really love how they even add the props. When a prop is added, a proper one, then it makes it even more exciting. So this one is great.
Next, we have Binibini 7, Shannon Tampon.
Well, this national costume is created, I believe, by Armand Marco, and it's inspired by the Lakambini ng Himagsikan. And what is so great about this national costume is if you look at all the national costumes on exhibit this year, this is the only one that is modernized, and that is one that loudly speaks of women empowerment, and whether it's physicality, it's being sexy, it's being aggressive, and it's everything that makes what I believe a modern warrior. And the costume itself is not afraid to be sexy, and I like that aspect of the costume, because nowadays I think it's about time that women take ownership of their femininity and their sexuality, and this costume gives me that in tons. And if there's one thing that I would want for the designer and for Shannon Binibini 7 to do, is to remove probably the feather extension on the cuff of the costume, because I believe it might not give her more area to move, because for presentation purposes, I think she needs to wield and brandish that bolo during the fashion show, and I think the feather extension would only hinder her from doing that. But other than that, I think the costume itself, it's very visually impactful.
Can I add, Patch?
Sure, Voltaire.
Justin brings up a very good point, because one of the things that I hope that the designers can also take into consideration is the logistics and the choreography of the way that they're going to present it, because like it can look beautiful in a photo, but when you're carrying all those things that you're backstage, you're going from one place to another. You sometimes even have dance steps, or you have to go from the front to the back, and then you have other girls with big wings next to you. Maneuvering through the stage can be quite tricky. At the same time, I think that the point here is about editing. Sometimes you just have to edit just a little bit more, just to make it even a stronger impact.
Yes, and aside from that, I remember when back in 2018, when Catriona Grace mentor Kaloy Buendia, we were talking about her national costume, and I said to him that pagsayawin mo si Catriona sa stage. That's why ibinaba niya yung payong niya, and then she did the arm movement for the end of at the end of the runway of the stage. And it's important din kasi na you give ode, or you pay homage to the culture that you're representing in your national costume, whether it's through dance, or through movement. So it's important that you take into consideration din yung paano siya mag-walk on stage kasi again with so much costumes that are huge and you might have difficulty maneuvering on stage if it's too big or too cumbersome or too heavy.
Thank you so much to our pageant experts. We're learning a lot, and I think the girls are learning a lot as well. So now we move on. Up next is Binibini 8 Meiji Cruise.
Meiji Cruise. This was made by Manny Halasan. Pag nakita mo siya, it's like very classic. It's simple, but
Yeah.
it has a lot of story to tell. And sabi niya, the wings was made or was inspired by the dragonfly, which means new beginning. So I'm excited if ibubuka ba niya yan or what, and kung ano bang meron dun sa back niya. Kasi looking at the front detail, it's very classic. I don't know kung anong inspired yung sa back detail. And one more thing, yung sa headdress niya, I think yung dito sa may forehead part, medyo natatakpan. So I hope kapag ni-ramp niya yan, it's very comfortable to wear and comfortable to ramp. Kasi sayang naman din yung face. Sabi nga po nila, when you ramp your national costume, dapat the people can see that you're comfortable enough wearing it so that they will see na talagang kayang-kaya mo siyang dalhin.
So up next, we have Binibini 9 Patricia Babista.
Now, Pat Babista, her costume is by DJ Abustan, and you know the Quezon province is not a stranger to these magnificent costumes made of indigenous materials like coconuts or like the coconut shell. In fact, their festivals, the Neo Yugan and the Pahiyas festivals are very popular. In fact, one of the queens, Atisa Manalo, was a former Binibining Nyogan, and you know, at first when I looked at it from afar, I thought the inspiration was sapin-sapin.
Yeah.
And then until I read about it, and then closer inspection, I noticed that there's like all these little layers of fabric, which was something that Valentino did a few years back. And it's these little things that you have to pay attention. Now, the lower part of the skirt is actually inspired by the I'm trying to see the name, aranya, which I guess is a chandelier or like a lighting fixture. So when you go to Quezon, you'd have all of these things hanging. And so aside from appreciating these visually, well, what I've learned to Google a little bit more to find out and to educate myself on where these things originate from. So that alone, combining all of them beautifully like this, makes for a great costume. The only thing that I like to point out is proportions. Because Pat Babista is such a beautiful petite girl, and like I can only see a small part of her face. Like it's not as highlighted as I would want it to be, but I'm sure in person this will move beautifully.
And last but not least for this batch, we have Binibini 10, Shira Marie Rona.
Well, this costume is actually inspired by two things. It's the couple, the Manda and Luyong, and the Lavanderos Festival of Mandaluyong. And what I like about this is that it's not too big, but it has impact. And when you're thinking about a costume about a labandero, labandera, you kind of think that it might go kitschy, it might go campy, and this one kind of makes that makes it different. The execution is it's just perfect because it allows the designer to play into the different aspects of the Mandaluyong tale. The luyong or the anhaw piece on their head, and the palo palo and the patia as a shield. It all comes together in a nicely tightly well done package, and this costume tells us that you don't have to have a huge costume for it to work, for it to be splendid, for it to be marvelous. Sometimes it is the simple but very meaningful and rich story behind the costume that makes it work. And this is what I get with this costume. It's perfect. It's not too big. It's not too it's not too cumbersome to wear. And I believe that the presentation later for Binibini 10, she can do a lot of things because she can move with this costume, and that's important.
Okay, that is it for our first batch. We have 3 more batches to go. Thank you, guys. Thank you for your wonderful insights. I'm really learning a lot. I think this is the first time we had the chance to do this in Binibining Pilipinas. And there's so much more to the national costumes than what we can see. So we really appreciate your insight, guys. Please don't go yet. We still have 30 girls. And for now, let's first take a quick break as we show our viewers some never before seen highlights of our candidates' adventure with Operation Smile last year. So let's watch this. Hi everyone! So today the Binibinis are here in Arden Island together with the kids from Operation Smile. Hi girls! So just a disclaimer, guys, before we get the comments, that event with Operation Smile happened before the pandemic. So don't worry, guys. We can assure you that the kids and the girls are all safe. We're all following the quarantine protocols. Okay, so now we're back to our national costumes. Let's talk about the next batch. First, we have Binibini 11, Maureen Montoya.
Okay, so this costume from Binibini 11 is designed by Nick Guarino. And what I like about this is that there is a story behind the costume. And if you look at the description, it talks about the Lacanates, which is basically a sultanate headed by what we call the Lakan. For those who are not familiar with the history, you have the Datu, and above him is the Lakan, and the Lakan basically governs a larger piece of land as compared to that of Datu. The Datu heads a barangay, while the Lakan heads the bayan, which is a larger piece of land. So what I like about this costume is that there is so much to unpack from it that kahit na masyadong marami kang nakikitang elemento, pwede mo siyang basagin pa isa-isa at may makikita kang interesanteng aspeto ng kultura dito. So you can look at the backpack. It's not very clear on the photos kung ano yung laman, pero makikita mo na it talks about the economics of the Lacanate during the pre-Hispanic time. And the interesting about this costume is that if my eyes is serving me right, I see two sticks that's sticking out at the backpack of the costume. And in terms of presentation, I think Maureen can do is take those sticks and do some Arnis moves in the presentation. And it all ties back to very Filipino, very pre-Hispanic heritage that the Filipino have. Kasi there is a notion that before the Spanish came, the Filipinos were savages. And that's actually not true. With the establishment of the Lacanate, the Sultanates, and the different status and leaderships of prior to pre-Hispanic time. And we are economically stable. The Lacans can feed their people with with trades from different countries, whether it's in Indonesia, China, or India. There is trade between the Batangas Lacanates and the Tondo Lacanates. So what I like about this costume is that it all puts it together into very tight costume that even if you break it down piece by piece, there is a story behind it. And what I'm most intrigued is how Maureen is going to present this costume later on at the National Costume Fashion Show, because parang ang dami niyang pwedeng gawin that she's spoiled for choice. So she needs to be very purposeful on what she does on stage for this costume.
Okay, next we have Binibini 12, Bianca Luis Marcelo.
I really love this costume of Bea. Well, first of all, it's one of my favorite inspirations, the sari manok. You know, like, yeah, everybody can do this every year, and I'd be like all for it. And I think that obsession started way back in '93 when Rufa Gutierrez wore her sari manok costume in the Miss World competition. Now, a lot of people will probably say, "Oh, it reminds me of someone's costume last year," but here's my thing: as long as it's done right, done beautifully, executed well, it doesn't matter who did it in the past. What I actually love about this is the proportions really suit Bea, because she has a smaller frame, and yet it highlights her. It doesn't carry her, and it doesn't make it look very heavy. And at the same time, those really little like touches of yellow, blue, and red, a little bit symbolism for the flag. It's not too literal, but it really just gives it that extra oomph. The only thing that I think maybe pareho kami ni Jason, we don't like over accessorizing certain things because we want the girls to be able to walk properly. She could probably work the train better without having to have that fan, because the headdress itself alone is beautiful. And this is by Paulo Blanco, by the way.
Okay, next is Binibini 13, Samantha Bernardo.
Designed by Patrick Isorena, the same designer last 2 years ago. I was supposed to say last year. But this gown was inspired by the goddess of pearls, knowing that Palawan is known for the pearl diving as their significant economic activity. And pag nakita mo siya, you will see the purity, generosity. Ang ganda, ang galing ng pagkaka-execute. And who would have thought they will execute it this way, di ba? Last year was so strong. I can say na yung costume niya last year was so strong. And ngayon, mas pinastrong pa nila. So I can't wait kung ano pang pasabog yung gagawin ni Sam on stage knowing Samantha Bernardo.
Next, we have Binibini 14, Hazel Joy Ortiz.
Oh wow! The photo of the Binibining Pilipinas Facebook website was not this one. So I'm thoroughly impressed, because the one that is posted on the FB page, it looks deceptively simple. And for an Edwin Uy to be that simple, there's something that has to happen, right? There's an expectation if it's an Edwin Uy creation, because he has won the National Costume Award more than once, I believe. I'm not particularly sure who won before, but I think Chanel, or I'm sorry, I can't remember who wore and Edwin Uy. I think it was Parulsha and one other former Binibini. But what is so deceptively simple about this is that the photo on Facebook transforms into this one. And I can't imagine how it's going to happen on stage. I think there will be some magic that's going to happen, maybe a string being pulled out, and then suddenly, voila, it becomes costume 1 to costume 2. And if it's an Edwin Uy, there is an expectation that he will always deliver at the national costume show. So I think we all have to wait for what's going to happen with Hazel's costume.
Next is Binibini 15, Cinderella o Benita.
Now, Cindy's gown is by Odilon Simpao, who did Chanel Olive Thompson's gown a few years back. This one is so beautiful. I really love all of the details. If you ever wondered what 10,000 glittery gold paillettes would look like, this is what it would look like. It's inspired by a mythical goldfish, and of course, it's called Belleza de Oro, which is beautiful gold. And being from Cagayan de Oro, that's what they really wanted to highlight. What I really appreciate about this, and what I want to point out about this costume, is that if you remove that middle portion and just turn it all into that gold paillettes, it can really be an evening gown as well. And one of the amazing things that we've seen so far is that all of these costumes, these are at the national level, but each and every single one of them can actually be worn at an international pageant, and they will get rave reviews. And I'm so happy to be seeing all of this, especially this one also from Cindy.
Next, we have Binibini 16, Alexandra May Rosales.
Designed by Richard Barreto. By seeing this photo, parang kang masisilaw kasi I think they use neon colors. And when you use a lot of colors in your national costume, which is one of my learnings, isa sa natutunan ko when we made the national costume for Miss Intercontinental, the more na marami kang colors na gagamitin, mas mahirap i-execute. Tama po ba, Sir Walter and Sir Jason? Kasi
yes.
parang malilito yung eyes mo and it's really difficult to execute it in a costume. And seeing this one, ang galing ng pagkaka-execute the combination of colors. It's very festive, and kapag visualize mo, looking all of them, parang sa kanya ka unang mapipinpoint kasi they use a neon color. So I think it's a good decision, and it's so great. It's a great costume for me.
Next, we have Binibini 17, Justin Felizarta.
Okay, so what I like about Justin Felizarta's costume is that it's a Vinta costume, and she said that this is inspired by it is done by Jobs Australia, and it's entitled Paglalakbay. And what I like about this is that if you remove certain aspects of this national costume, it can actually be worn at an event, at a function. And surprisingly, looking at the behind-the-scenes videos of this national costume, the fit is impeccable. And I should say this is actually my favorite national costume this year among all the 40 candidates. I believe that if you take off some elements, you can wear. Maybe the next president of the Philippines can wear this at her inauguration in 2022, or maybe the first lady would wear this for her inauguration. And it's that aspect of wearability that makes me like this costume more than the others, because it can be worn outside of pageantry, and it can be worn for maybe the opening dinner at Miss International, so that you stand out as as a candidate. You're the only one in a formal function who's wearing a national costume that is made for glamour and glitz. So that's what I like about this one.
Can I add, Patch?
Sure.
Trivia. Way back in 2016, when Rep Ayala, who designed the national costume of Maxine, we were discussing, what he was going to do, and the Vinta was one of the inspirations. And I'm actually very happy to see that this very successful creation of a Vinta in a costume. In fact, this is the first time I'm wearing this. This was made by Red, and if you can see it, this is the exact same embroidery as Maxine's national costume. And this is the first time I've actually worn it. But Justine looks fabulous.
Walter, I think you want to compete in the national costume.
Not in this one, maybe next time.
Okay, thank you. Up next, we have Binibini 18, Karen Mendoza.
2 words. Wow, bulalakaw. I love that word, first of all, because it, for the people that don't know, that means comet. And this one, she's a shooting star. She's a bright star. And Karen just looks powerful and fierce. And despite all of the things going on all around her, her face is the one that you automatically focus on. It actually reminds me a little bit of the time when I think the warrior costume started becoming in fashion was in 2008 when Diana Mendoza of Venezuela won and wore a warrior costume. And this reminds me of that. This one is by Tata Panuela. And now I'm all for this feathery carnival, sexy, powerful costume with a gigantic headdress. Give me this every year, I'm happy. In fact, I spoke to Karen about it. She's like, can you teach me how to carry that? Because it's like about over 5 kilograms. And so I said, basta may chiropractor ka the next day, okay ka na.
Next, we have Binibining 19, Kimberly Tikas.
Kimberly Tikas created by Marvin Garcia. This is just wow. Parang nabasa ko, it's inspired by Flores de Mayo. And also, they incorporated a bamboo artwork, which is a traditional form of architecture. Medyo worried lang ako kasi baka ma-overpower yung face niya through the headdress. But all in all, ang galing din ng concept. Ang galing ng concept. I am just also wondering anong weight nito. Kasi looking at the photo, parang na-carry niya ng maayos. She carried it very well and very light. So I'm wondering ano ba talagang real weight nito. Parang yun yung pumapasok sa akin ngayon. Pag tinitignan ko yung costume, parang ano bang weight nito? Kasi with my national costume, other people, akala nila it's just so light. Akala nila mga magaan lang kasi naikot ko pa. But they don't know it's 40 to 50 kilos. So yun. So yun lang. Ang galing din ng costume na to.
Sana may on standby na chiropractor o kaya physical therapist during the show para sigurado tayo na walang injury.
Kaya nga. Pero pag nandun ka na po, parang di mo na ma-feel na mabigat pa rin yung dinadala.
Yeah.
And after that, they carry these things. All of you guys wear these with high heels. And you make it so effortless.
Yeah,
and that's all
you make it so effortless.
And these designers, apart from designing, they're also conducting feats of architecture.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
diba? Just to hold it up, mahirap yan. Okay, and last but not least for this batch, we have Binibining 20, Anathea Cinerosa.
Okay, so Anathea is one of the tallest, if not she's the tallest girl this year at around 6 foot. She's a 6-footer. She's a basketball player. So I understand the height. And what I'm worried about this costume is that it's big, that she might need practice how to walk with walk with this costume. But what I like about this costume is that it makes her even look taller. So 6-footer na nga siya, tapos with this costume mas mukha siyang 6'5", 6'7", and that's with the high heel and the headdress pa. I like the fact that it pays homage to something that is one of the crafts in Iloilo, which is called amakan or amakan. I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but it's actually bamboo weaving, and that they use for interiors and walls of their houses. And yun yung maganda doon, na may pinaghuhugutan siyang kwento, may pinaghuhugutan siyang crafts na entirely Filipino ang pinanggagalingan. I'm just worried that it might be too heavy, so I do suggest that you practice how to walk, how to turn, how to twirl in this costume, because sayang yung ganda ng costumes kung hindi mo kaya siyang i-presenta ng maayos.
Thank you so much, guys. Again, thank you so much for your wonderful insights. I feel like I'm listening to a panel discussing the Met Gala Best Dressed list. Ganon yung feel today. Eh. So I think we really picked a very good set of guests to discuss the national costume for today. Thank you so much, guys. We have 2 more batches to go. For now, in case the viewers missed the first half of this Facebook Live presentation, welcome, guys. BPCI Chairperson Madam Stella Marquez Areneta delivered a message to officially welcome all Binibini fans and followers in this year's pageant. So, in case you missed it, let me read to you her message again. Okay. Good day to all our supporters and followers. I am happy to announce that Binibining Pilipinas Charities Incorporated is all set to continue with the pageant this year. We officially opened the Binibining Pilipinas season with the launch of the National Costume Photo Exhibit in Araneta City. Through this, we aim to celebrate our colorful culture and our talented local designers. Our tradition of identifying and crowning our new queens will be done in a new normal and safe setting. We share your excitement as we see the candidates in action again, and we look forward to your continuous support. See you all on April 17, 2021 for the Binibining Pilipinas Grand Coronation Night. Thank you. Ayan, wow. So straight from Madam Stella Araneta herself, we have a date for the Grand Coronation Night. See you all there, April 17, 2021. Thank you, Madam Stella, for that wonderful message. Let's pause again for a while to recognize our beloved Binibining Pilipinas sponsors.
Binibining Pilipinas would like to thank her sponsors. Araneta City, the city of firsts. World Balance, the official active lifestyle footwear. Jag Jeans, Manhattan Garden City by Mega World Corporation. Ever Balana Cosmetics, Petron, Kasabay sa Lakbay, Pizza Hut, Dairy Queen, and Taco Bell. And we also would like to thank our service sponsors, Manila Bulletin, Novotel, Manila, Araneta City, Dale Carnegie, Raymond Saldana Photography, Jojo Bragay Shoes, Gold's Gym, Equinox Manila, Dom's Rama Swimwear, Picture City, and Bruce Casanova Photography.
Thank you so much to our sponsors. Let's now move on to the next batch of costumes. So for Binibini 21, we have Hannah Arnold.
The picture is coming up. Oh, okay, there it is. Now, Hannah, I can almost imagine her saying, Mas bate. But one of the great things about Hannah is she's one of the really tall, statuesque girls who can carry off any costume, any size, any length, height, or whatever. So this one proves that. And one look at the costume, you know it's Louis Pangilinan. That silhouette is unmistakable, that craftsmanship, the different patterns. And what's interesting about this is the flowers in the middle and the bodice part. In the description, it was said that Hannah was actually the one who made them from recycled materials. So having a candidate even participate in making it makes it a little bit more special. That collaboration is not just an idea, but actually putting in the work to do it. Hannah looks amazing. And sometimes some people will say, "Oh, we've seen that before." But you know what? I don't care if we've seen it I can see this every single day, and I'd be happy because it looks amazing. This is couture level, and the way that even her makeup and her hair, it doesn't distract from the costume. It actually adds to her beauty, and that's the thing that I think Emma, Justin, and I have been trying to also say is anything that you add onto it needs to accentuate and highlight the beauty of the candidate. Again, this is not a Project Runway competition where we're talking about the concept. It's about the beauty of the candidate. It's a beauty pageant at the end of the day. So I hope that that's something that they always try to prioritize. Hannah looks amazing.
Next, we have Binibini 22, Maria Ruth Erica Quinn.
Okay, so I was pleasantly surprised that Ruth Quinn decided on this costume. The costume is made by Urjan de la Serna, and it's inspired by the by Cabanatuan City, Nueva Ecija as the rice granary of the Philippines. And the thing about the surprising thing about this is that Ruth Erica Quinn is actually a veterinary doctor. Sorry, I'm bumbling my words. So I was expecting something on that line na national costume na tipong has something to do with her being a doctor. And looking at this one, now I see it makes sense because she's from Nueva Ecija. My only comment about this is that I want her hair to be pulled back para kita yung face. And then she could add actually a rattan backpack where the magsasaka would usually put the harvested palays on the backpack para mas buo yung kwento, para mas buo yung look ng national costume, because I think that's something that you can add here without overpowering the entire costume. So this for me is a double thumbs up because Nueva Ecija is close to my heart because it's near my province. Kaya if Isabela is known for its tobacco and its maize, well, Nueva Ecija is known for its palay.
Next is Binibining 23, Gabriel Bashano.
Designed by Ken Batino and Jevin Salaysay. Voltaire and Sir Jason, I have a question. Is this the first time na may kalesa sa national costume?
Yes.
Ever?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes,
so tama yung na-research ko. I just need to double check. So I just love na this is the first time na nagkaroon ng kalesa in the national costume, which is, we all know that kalesa is part of the Philippine culture. Kasi that's the first mode of transportation of the Philippines. And I like how they made it modernized kasi the color of the kalesa is gold. And when you look at it closer, the kalesa design is a hand-woven mat, or what we call banigi in Tagalog. And then the wheels are sun designed, which is represents the city of Golden Sunrise, which is her hometown. And what I love about this one is her legs. Long legs. Parang doon ako na-focus. Parang aside sa kalesa, na-focus ako doon sa legs niya, which is, ang galing ng pagkakaisip din itong costume na to. So, this is a wonderful one. I hope ma-execute niya ng maayos on stage.
Next is...
Oh, sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
On the kalesa, there's only one little suggestion that I would make is I hope that they can attach the head on the front so that her hands would be free to maneuver that whole kalesa. And because I know, like, when she starts moving, gagalaw yan, and that might prevent her from walking fiercely, as opposed to her holding both of it, both sides. She'd be able to command it better. So that's the only thing.
Yeah.
Thank you. Next, we have Binibining 24, Lovely Mercado.
Now, Binibining 24 is from Rojas, Isabela, and a little bit of history is the town of Rojas was the first town that was named after President Manuel Rojas.
Yes.
The wife of President Manuel Rojas is Trinidad Rojas, who was also a carnival queen in 1920. No, I was not alive during that time to cover that event. But this is where this was, it was a picture of Trinidad Rojas during her carnival queen days that this was an inspiration from. And I think that's very seldom that they actually have an inspiration from an actual woman. And if you look at this, there's all those little details. There's those beadwork, there's ruffles, there's embroidery, there's feathers, there's everything. And yet it looks very regal, it looks very rich, it looks very expensive, which is a perfect representation of a woman like Trinidad Rojas, who during her time was, para siya siguro yung parang, the it girl or the socialite girl, because she was known to be beautiful at the same time, intelligent and fashionable. So it's very nice to have a reference to some of the much older queens.
Next, we have Binibining 25, Karina Carino.
Okay, so Karina Carino's national costume is done by Don Cristobal, and it's supposed to be a water deity. Interesting to note because she's representing La Union, and La Union is considered, one of the surfing capitals of the Philippines. And what is striking about this costume is that it actually reminds me of a Binibining Pilipinas winner back in the 80s, Desiree Verdadero's national costume. It's a quiet national costume, and the similarity of the headdress with this one is so striking. Or maybe my memories doesn't, or maybe I don't recall the headpiece correctly, but I kind of sense that vibe on that. And there's something about this photo that that kind of tells me that there is a surprise later on in the presentation. So I'm not gonna spoil it for everyone. I'm just gonna wait for that to happen.
Next is Binibini 26, Zarina Giao.
Another fellow Kabalen. So this made by Ferdinand Macoy Elipani. This one is inspired by Dase, which is Kapampangan word of Dase. Dase is banig. Banig in Tagalog. And I love how they executed this one. I just hope she can walk very well kasi sa nakikita ko it's a serpentina gown. So yun lang, but I love the details, the design. It's very windy. Even I don't know what you call this one.
The color.
Yeah, the color, big color. Diba? And I love how they also put her advocacy in this one. Kasi Dase is the main source of income and livelihood of our Aita brothers. And meron pang meaning yung Dase niya. It's developing Aita's strength through empowerment. Yun yung nakakatuwa pag gumagawa ng national costume. It's not just about the designer, it's not just about the people, it's not just about the story, but it's all about also your advocacy. Kaya sinasabi na lang, there's love, there's heart on what you're doing.
Exactly why you won Best in National Costume last year, Emma. So next we have Binibini 27, Jasmine de Macolangan.
Now this one, Jazz, it's by Marvin Baloloy. Okay, I know what you're thinking. I know what everybody's thinking. This girl is on fire, literally. The proportions are perfect for Josh. It doesn't weigh her down. I love the detailing. I love the colors. I love the movement of the flames. I love the flames at the bottom on her boots or the attachments on her leg. But the other thing is, I love the designer's note on this. It says that the fires are as scorching as the passion between star-crossed lovers Patch Magayon and Joshua Pangaron Noron. No, I'm sorry. Star-crossed lovers Magayon and Panganoron. That's not a joke. Because this is Daragang Magayon. It's very beautiful. Yes, Pat.
Thank you, Voltaire. Next, we have Binibini 28, Maria Francesca Taro.
Okay, okay, hinga. Ito si Voltaire talaga. Oh. Okay, so with Francesca's national costume, I like the fact that wala siyang hawak. I like the fact that walang masyadong accessory, walang masyadong palamuti sa may neckline, because Francesca is one of the most strikingly beautiful girls in this batch. The face itself, it's worth the attention. And with the headpiece that frames her face and the neckline that frames her neck and shoulders, it's perfect as is. And what I like about this costume is that the pattern on the skirt reminds me of a John Galliano draping method. And if you look closely at it, underneath the skirt, may mga pailaw, which is owing to the inspiration of the designer, Rich Sabinian, on the parol costumes. And earlier, we already had a parol costume. And it only goes to show that there's so many ways to skin a cat. And this one is just one of those creative executions of the same the same theme. And what I like about this is that it's bottom heavy, so that when you look at the face, you only see the face. My only hope for this costume is that yung presentation niya hindi siya masyado mababad sa ilaw, because it would look better at when the lights are dim, because of the lights on the costume itself.
Up next, Binibini 29, Honey Cortesano.
Designed by Paulo Ballesteros. It is also my first time to see parang Gigantes concept in the national costume. So this is a unique design for me, and meron pa yata siyang twist when she turns around So I am excited to see that one kasi based on the description. And hindi ko lang makita yung hands niya, but all in all, I love it, and wala akong masabi. Parang pagkita ko lang dito, napauwaw ako nung first na in-upload to. Yun lang nasabi ko, wow.
Disclaimer, she's not related to Maria Gigante.
For Binibini 30, we have Nerissa Valerio.
Now, this one, she's from Arayat, Pampanga. Masanting Malago. Fellow Kapampangan like Emma, look at the resemblance between Emma and I. Now, this is called A Mountain Enchantress, and it's by Rian Fernandez. Now, in Pampanga, the Mount Arayat, there's this myth, and I think Emma would probably know this, about Maria Sinupuan. She's a Kapampangan sun god of war, who lived on Mount Arayat. But here's the thing, like when I was a kid growing up, I was terrified of Maria Sinupuan, because my mom and my titas would always say that whenever we go up there, it's like, oh, mag-ingat ka, don't wander too much because kukunin ka ni Maria Sinupuan. So I was terrified of Maria Sinupuan. But had I known Maria Sinupuan would look like this, I would have gone out and looked for her, and she'd be my BFF. I really love all of this very Lion King Broadway effect on the headdress with all of those little creatures. This is a new take on these modern fantastical creatures, and I want to see this in person. And in fact, I want to borrow this from Nerissa. Beautiful.
You can be your BFF.
Yeah. Yes.
So, thank you, guys. We are done with 3 batches. We have 1 more left. At this point, let's go back in time and see the highlights of the Binibining Pilipinas talent competition, which happened on Valentine's Day last year at the New Frontier Theater. You still remember that? I kind of don't. So let's watch this. Grabe, what a throwback. That seemed like a lifetime ago.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but that makes me even more excited to start the pageant season once again. And we're down to our final batch. Emma, can you start us off with Binibini 31, Grishela Liman?
Sa akin pala yan. Wala, sabi ko, ba't wala kayo nagsasalita? Sa akin pala. Anyway, it reminds me of Patch, actually, Warrior Princess, diba? From 2 years ago. This is, I love seeing this costume because it tells a story from the past. And the way they use the color red, which is very strong and very bold, ang galing lang. Um, Parang wala naman din ako masyadong ma-comment. All I can say is that it's very well executed and it's great. It's an amazing one.
Next is Binibini 32, Danica Acuna.
Okay, so Danica Acuna is it's wearing another pearl inspired costume, and earlier we already have one with Samantha Bernardo. So my instead of a critique, what I would offer is a suggestion for Danica to find traditional folk dances that she can do that is based from her province, from Blon, to do on stage para maiba yung presentation niya later on, so that it gives it differentiates her from the other girls later on in the lineup. I believe that there are rituals, there are courtship dances that she can do for the presentation of her national costume that would aptly merge the pearl idea with the dance idea. So I hope that she does her research on that para maiba siya.
Binibini 33 is Alexandra Garcia.
Now, here's a costume that has a direct reference to the place that she's representing, which is Olongapo. The things that you'll notice here are the dove on her head. She's a warrior. And then there's a decapitated head that she's holding. Now, the story behind that is that there was an elderly man who was wise and beloved and was peace-loving, who was from that region. And that was Apo. And one day, one of these evil people, evil tribesmen, kidnapped him. And days later, it is said that there was this little boy who found the decapitated head of Apo by the forest, which was on a bamboo pole. He was a peace-loving person. So this costume represents a dove warrior, which is what Faith is. And Ulo ng Apo is where this originated from. That's the name of Olongapo, Ulo ng Apo. That's a direct reference to how they got that name. And so it's not about so much as the violence that happened prior to that, but it's more of the ideals of Apo, of peace and of love and of understanding. That's the ideals that she's trying to promote. And at the same time, if there's any possible suitors of Faith, mag-ingat kayo.
Next is Binibini 34, Mercedes Fair.
Designed by Boy Sobihano. This is the third, I think, for this Binibining Pilipinas 2020 national costume to have a concept of Flores de Mayo. And I love how they are executed in a different ways, diba? And this one, gusto ko yung paggamit niya ng one color lang, which is yellow, which is very vibrant, joyful. It speaks sunshine, diba? And using the arc one na pwede niyang isayaw, which yung sinasabi ni Sir Jason kanina, when you do a national or when you ramp a national costume, hindi lang siya about the walk, you can also dance with it. And when we think about Flores de Mayo, parang yun yung sayaw nila, di ba? When they gently sway. So I hope gagawin niya yon. And ano pa ba? I hope yung pag-sway niya, it's very elegant also, very classy, and very vibrant as her costume is.
Binibini 35 is Mika Rosal.
Okay, so there's two things that I want to say about this costumes. One is that she doesn't need a heavy headdress para lumutang siya with this costume. Maybe a simple small tiara would do, because she's already decked with this costume. The second one is, if you look closer at the at the details of the skirt, it's not actually plissé. It's not pleats. It's actually vertical. It's circular fabrics that were patched together on the skirt. And this is something that you do on haute couture. I believe Sir Voltaire mentioned earlier that Valentino did something similar. Actually, Valentino did this kind of technique for his last show for Valentino Couture before he left the atelier. And the costume itself, it's already very impactful. It already has visual texture. It already is very striking. So there's no need to add more. If she opts to add something on her hair, maybe a traditional paineta, that would be enough kung maliit lang. Wag masyadong malaki because everything in this costume, I believe it's perfect.
Next is Binibining 36, Vicky Rushton.
Now, Vicky's costume is inspired by the Magellan birdwing butterfly, and it's designed by Jomar Peralta of the House of Victoria. Now, one of the things that Emma was saying earlier about so many colors, there's two things that you can command the stage. One is through color, and then the other is through size. She's doing a little bit of both. And this one, it says that it's really colorful. If you look at it, there's 20 colors of crystals, beads, and rhinestones laid out in this very intricate pattern. I love it because, how can you go wrong with Vicky? The only thing that I would suggest is, because it's a butterfly, I would want her hair to be pulled back instead of like the thing on the side. And it actually makes me wonder how this would have translated had it been a bodysuit or had it been a swimsuit type, so that it would really accentuate the wings. But in any case, I know that this will look so beautiful. And I don't know, maybe, is this like a symbolism for like Vicky coming out of her cocoon, emerging as an international butterfly? But I guess we'll find out on April 17.
Next is Binibining 38, Leslie Anticaro.
Okay. There are two variants of the waling-waling flower. One is the purple pinkish variant, and the other one is the white and yellow-green variant. I like that the designer, Mark Joseph Sayed, combined both in this interpretation of the waling-waling. And what I like about the waling-waling kasi is that I believe during President Noynoy Aquino's time, there was a move to make waling-waling the national flower of the Philippines. It just didn't get enough traction because for some whatever weird reason, it just didn't pass. But what I like about this costume is that it combines two variants into one costume, and I am very intrigued how she is going to present, how Leslie Ann is going to present this later on at the fashion show. Because if I'm not mistaken, this might have like the back extension similar to that of Jessery Dumaging in 2019, where she flicks her her hands, and then voila, the flower unfolds. I think this is something that I am hoping that would happen for her presentation at the National Costume Show, because it would be I would love this so much if that happens.
Next is Binibining 39, Bellatrix Tan.
Now, Bellatrix Tan, again, another warrior. Now, one of the things that you'll notice is that the thing on her leg with all those, the fringe, you'll notice that that's a trend among all of the warriors or a lot of the girls. In fact, even a little bit of Gabby Bartano's costume had a little bit of that. I don't know if that's, authentic. I want to research if that's like an authentic thing or if that's a creative thing. But looking at her, she looks amazing. The only thing I question is, like, I don't know what that thing on her right hand is. Kung the one made of dried grass. I mean, ano ba yan ng mga langaw or something? I don't know. Like, I don't know what you'll use that for in war. But I love the shield, the wooden shield. But the most amazing thing for me with this outfit or with this costume is the headdress, the neck piece, and then the belt. all of that intricate, beautiful gold work is just fantastic. And if she's a warrior and there's a tribe that's trying to invade her town, I don't think they're gonna go to the town anymore. They'll just rob her of all that gold and then they'll go away na. Because that alone is like very rich and luxurious. I love it.
Last but not least is Binibini 40 Honeybee Perennias.
Another warrior princess, designed by R.L. Omalde. Seeing this costume using red and gold, it's very eye-catching. And when you wear this warrior princess, you can do everything on stage because it's very comfortable to wear. And what I like about this one is there are ethnic patterns used. So you can see the Muslim, kasi di ba from Sultan Kudarat siya, so the Muslim side, you can see it here. And yun lang, I am intrigued and I am excited kung anong gagawin nyo on stage.
And that's it. We're done with all the candidates. Thank you so much, Emma, Voltaire, and Jason, for sharing your valuable thoughts, your valuable time and insights. I think I speak for everyone when I say that we learned so much. We appreciate you so much. Thank you so much for today. And of course, to our online viewers, thank you also for joining us in this Facebook Live. Again, we are inviting you to check out all of the costumes as we discussed today in our Binibining Pilipinas photo exhibit happening at the Gateway Mall starting today until January 31 and at the Alley Mall from February 1 to 14. So feel free to pose alongside the photos exhibited and share them on social media to show your support to your favorite Binibinis. And at this point, we would like to thank our sponsors for their continuous support to Binibining Pilipinas. Araneta City, City of Firsts, World Balance, the official active lifestyle footwear, Jag Jeans, Manhattan Garden City by Mega World Corporation, Ever Belena Cosmetics Incorporated, Petron, kasabay sa lakbay, Pizza Hut, Dairy Queen, and Taco Bell. Thanks also to our service sponsors, Manila Bulletin, Novotel Manila, Araneta City, Dale Carnegie, Raymond Saldana Photography, Jojo Burgais Shoes, Gold's Gym, Equinox Manila, Dom's Ramos Swimwear, Picture City, Bruce Casanova Photography. And to our fans and supporters, make sure you follow the Binibining Pilipinas social media pages to be updated and notified on the dates and upcoming announcements. This has been Patch Magtanong. Thank you so much for joining us today. See you in the next Binibining Pilipinas activities. Bye!
Aesthetic kasi wala na sa ano, KF ka.